Sthapakaya cha dharmasya sarvadharmasvarupine avatara varishtaya Ramakrishnaya te namaha. Ramakrishna is explaining the various ways in which God manifests and the ways in which man can realize Him in and through his human bodily existence. It's a wonderful thing. What God is by Himself is unknown to human. In various aspects, man has been able to realize Him to the extent God reveals Himself to the man. God may be that some people somewhere has realized still higher ways of realizing Him. We do not know. But whatever has till now has been recorded as the absolute existence, as the immanent existence, as the Lord of the universe, Ishvara, as the indweller in all beings, Antaryamin, as the avatara, manifestations of the God in and through the name and form. All these are recorded things and unrecorded we don't know who has realized. God has revealed Him in what ways. And Sri Ramakrishna says, whatever way the manifestation be, it is God alone. Suppose there is a person, he is coming in various dresses, various ways, and various ways of manifesting. For example, he may be a prime minister in a country. He may be simultaneously working in some other field as some other. Maybe he is a doctor by qualification. These are different manifestations of the same person. In various ways God is manifesting. So His manifestations are infinite, and the way in which we cannot limit. But in these ways the people have realized, and whatever way you see, it is the same person. As a doctor also, it is the same person. As a prime minister also, he is the same person. He is son of somebody, father of somebody. So many relationships, so many ways the people look at him, have relationships with him. In particular aspect, he reveals himself to that particular person. Suppose father is there, he moves, acts as son to that father. He has a son, he moves, acts as father to that son. These are various aspects in which, but commonly we see a few things. He can be many more things. So we totally, all these various manifestations at human level and in and through name and form, we call as avatara. And avatars are infinite, you cannot measure. Like waves in the ocean. How many waves are there in ocean? It is immeasurable. It can be any number. Now there is a harmonium. How many songs you can play in it? Infinite. So there can be some type of harmonium from which many more ragas can be taken on, many more small divisions of sound can be made to manifest. there is no limit. We have standardized because all are inclined to see or hear in that fashion. Wherever human existence exists, everywhere we see Sarigama Padanisa in different forms. But I can divide into many more divisions, like in traditionally Hinduism, the traditional way of classical music in Hindustani, and then in Vedic, the root level, we have 22 raga, 22 shrutis, the pitches that we use in Vedic chanting and all, Samagana, we use all those 22. Here we take 12. So it can be divided to infinite number. Are we able to hear, perceive the differences? These 12 Sa, Re, Ga, Ma, Pa, Da, Ni, Sa with komal and sharp and the blunt ways of presenting, we are all humans are accustomed. They are naturally found in nature also. So we are accustomed to it. We try to see any song we hear, we expect it to be analyzed in that way, and in the same pattern we are all accustomed to listen and sing. But it can be many more things which is beyond our understanding. Somebody may prefer to have, instead of 12 shrutis, another few shrutis, say 15, 20 shrutis that he can make and sing in those shrutis. So there is no limit. Similarly, God we cannot limit. Even at physical level, if we see, we are not able to distinguish. Now, mobiles you see, small differences. How many millions and millions of mobiles are working? The wavelength is such a small differences that what one speaks in a particular mobile to a particular mobile, the other is not able to catch. How much of perfection and division with which the universe moves. And this is happening at the physical level of our understanding. God is beyond time and space, beyond all limitations. What it is, human mind cannot conceive. But Sri Ramakrishna says, a few manifestations like the absolute, the God has become personal, impersonal, all these aspects, and he is trying to dissolve the differences. It's one and the same reality, manifesting in different ways, and through different paths we are going to realize him in different aspects. It is one and the same. From the realization of the highest, the Brahman, when the person comes down, and find that Brahman has become the universe and all living beings. In the musical scale, there are Sarigama Padani, but one cannot keep one's voice on knee for a long time. The ego does not vanish together. This term ego he is going to take up little later, means immediately the ego individually, it doesn't disappear. Ego does not vanish altogether. Even in Nirvikalpa, little ego remains with which he comes back. In deep sleep when we go, we are totally dissociated with all aspects of nature. The gross body, subtle body, the causal body, all this, even our knowledge, understanding, everything we are separated from. The individual consciousness that pervades and comes and goes to the various levels of states of existence, the Jagra, Swapna, Shushupti, waking, dreaming and deep sleep. We are coming and going, our individual consciousness is extending and withdrawing from the gross to the subtle to the causal and going beyond causal. The ego, waking ego, is not there in the dreaming ego, the self, waking self and waking ego dissolve. In dream, dream ego, dream self, dream body appears. In causal level, all are going back. The ego has been dissolved with intellect in the subtle body. In the causal body, knowledge alone is there. But the ego pertaining to the nature has dissolved. I as one with Chaitanya, this spiritual ego, spiritual individuality which is making the consciousness, not the matter. Annamaya, Pranamaya, Manomaya, Vijnanamaya, even Anandamaya belongs to Prakriti. Beyond Anandamaya when it comes to the self. Similarly, the various levels when we go to sleep, Jagrat, Swapna, Shushupti, all these belong to nature. The natures, when I come in association with the bodily existence at any level, even at causal level, all my knowledge and everything is entering into seed form. In seed form I am leaving and separating my individual consciousness. The gross ego, the gross consciousness that was with the world, that is of the nature, Prakriti, is left out. And the individual I, that I pertaining to Chaitanya is different from I pertaining to nature. I pertaining to nature is a part of intellect, mana, buddhi, chitta, ahankara. It is a part of the mind stuff, this ego. Now I am talking to you. This ego is different from when I say Aham Brahmasmi. So that spiritual ego is there. When I leave all the aspects of nature behind and enter into the deepest, the second stage of my deep sleep, to become one with the cosmic consciousness. My individual consciousness is becoming one with the cosmic consciousness in the second stage of the deep sleep. When I go to the deepmost and expand in the cosmic consciousness, what is that I that is expanding? Is the individual consciousness. I associated with the individual consciousness. It is expanding in the cosmic consciousness. Again the call comes from the nature. Come out, come out. And I separate. This I is spiritual I. And it is covered. The moment I touch the Karana Sharira, all my memories, identity, physical identity and all are waking up. They cloud the spiritual I. And I don't know who am I. Because I am in associate with the nature. And another I starts presenting there. By the time I come to all the memories are associated with the ego. All my knowledge, everything is, it pertains to this knowledge what I have got. Now, through studies and analysis of the world, this knowledge, what presently I am having in the waking state, pertains to nature only. I don't have spiritual knowledge now, unless I am a realized soul. If I am a realized soul, I have the I, understanding of that, what I is. Here, my I also, these all knowledge are mounted upon the I that pertains to nature. I that pertains to Chaitanya is covered by this knowledge and ego. And by the time my subtle body wakes up from the sleep, causal body wakes up, all memories, identities are coming into active state. It cannot manifest because it doesn't have a field. to manifest, but they are in active state. Then when I come to the subtle body, the mind, in Pancha Jnanendriyas, all these Pancha Karmendriyas all come into active state. And these knowledge and everything goes and occupies their seats. The power of perception takes into the eyes, the brain, the knowledge and memories, everything they form, and then touch the physical body to manifest in the instruments. So, how this ego, real ego is missed. There are two egos, one pertaining to nature, with which we pass through the waking state, deep sleep, dream state, and all the states we are passing through is through the I that pertains to nature. I acquire that, and then I experience these things. And it is this ego that is passing through the waking, dreaming, and deep sleep. And another ego after deep sleep, another ego pertaining to Chaitanya comes into picture. This ego, if it can be projected out, it carries the knowledge of the self. This ego, the moment it starts entering into deeper layers, dissolves away. It doesn't have place. The ego of the nature cannot enter into the Karana Sharira, the causal body. It pertains to subtle body, Sukshma Sharira. It cannot enter into causal body. Deep sleep state, ego won't be there. But on what this ego is mounted upon, and on this ego, what all knowledge and identity is existing, that part remains independent of the ego. Ego dissolves. All these remain in nature, in Karana Sharira. That's why it is entering into the seed form. It cannot manifest because I is not there. I is there in the subtle body, Sukshma Sharira. After that, I doesn't come. Mind doesn't come. Senses doesn't come. Intellect doesn't come. Mana, Buddhi, Chitta, Ahankara doesn't come in causal body. They remain at the subtle body in the causal state. They enter into seed form there itself. And the knowledge and all that is content come to the causal body. And because of the absence of ego, I hear, I know. The I has got three. I know, I will, I act. Kartritva, Bhoktritva, and Jnatritva. This Jnatritva ends there. Because here ego is not there. Knowledge is there without the manifestation. It cannot manifest. Knowledge is there, but I know that I is not there. So it enters into seed form because of the absence. Doership is there, Kartritva, but organs of action remain completely there itself. And ego dissolves there. All the impressions enter into seed form. All these enter into seed form, my identity and everything, because of absence of ego. And then, now, the individual consciousness, Chaitanya, Vyashti Chaitanya, is free to enter into expand into the universal consciousness. There, the moment it is separated, another I that pertains to the consciousness, Shuddha Chaitanya, Aham Brahmasmi. It is that I which identifies Aham Brahmasmi experiences. Once it experiences Aham Brahmasmi and understands, when it projects out, it is possible only when we enter into superconscious state instead of entering into the deep sleep state. Same thing, in deep sleep, if you can turn inward and consciously enter passing through various levels of existence, even as Jagrat, Swapna, Sushupti are Annamaya, Pranamaya, Manomaya, Vijnanamaya, Anandamaya. Whatever way you transcend the layers and reach the innermost, you get the self-knowledge. Because this I was a reflection of that I. The reflection merges in the cause from where the I came. So there it gets self-knowledge. When it comes out, it comes with the self-knowledge, because that I, the individual consciousness which was identifying with the cosmic consciousness, that projects out. So that we see here, projecting out and manifesting. So the ego does not vanish altogether. Sri Ramakrishna is telling, because either this ego will be there or that ego will be there. Then that ego, individual ego, when it expands in universal consciousness, that ego also starts dissolving away. But nature has a hold on that ego to make it manifest again, because the pending karmas are there, the vasanas are there, so many desires, ambitions, attachments are all there. So nature has a hold. When all this dissolves, nature lives. It cannot have a hold. It cannot give rebirth. It cannot bring him back to waking state and all. When he comes also, he is witness. He is coming out from the superconscious state of Brahmadhyana or Atmadhyana. When he is descending to the waking state, he is coming to the normal state of consciousness. He is in an entirely different state, unimaginable state. That is, he is carrying that knowledge of the other world with him. And then this ego cannot manifest when there is one. There is no mirror to reflect it. There cannot be an image. The real I itself is there. Here, it is the Jagrat, Swapna, Sushupti through which he is coming down to the waking state, Jagrat Sthiti. He is witness of all these three, because he is all pervading. He has no limitations. Formerly he was limited to body, he was limited to his mind, he was limited to his senses, he was limited to his knowledge. Now the limitations have broken, because the individual ego has dissolved and the real ego has presented. That ego which belongs to God, which belongs to the Chaitanya, that ego has come out, and it is that which is manifesting now. So we see here that he is the witness of the Jagra, Swapna, Sushupti. He knows when he enters comes to waking state, he knows he is in waking state, and what waking state means to be, he knows as a part of the cosmic existence. And when he enters into dream state, he knows where he is in the dream state, witnessing the dream. He knows he is witnessing the dream, and he is witness of the not only dream state, the world of subtle world. The Virat, the Hiranyagarbha, is witnessing the Hiranyagarbha, and Jiva perceiving a part of the Hiranyagarbha as dream state. Then when he enters into causal state of deep sleep, when we see him sleeping, he is one with the God. When he wake up, he is one with the God. When he enters into deep sleep, he is witnessing Ishvara as all-pervading cosmic existence, and the state in which he is experiencing a part of that Ishvara, that as deep sleep, that also is witnessing. He is witnessing beyond also. He is all-pervading, is becoming all-pervading without the three layers of witness. You can imagine what God could be. As he is passing through, the Jivan Mukta is passing through from waking to deep sleep, he is witnessing one by one at Virat, then at the second stage of Hiranyagarbha, this gross, this subtle and the causal at the universal level. Virat, Hiranyagarbha and Ishvara. One by one layer, he is experiencing himself, experiencing the small part of waking state, small part of dream, as dream, state of the entire subtle existence, Hiranyagarbha part of, he is experiencing both what a Jiva experiences and what a Ishvara experiences. And the Ishvara is pervading all Jivas, what every Jiva is experiencing, what every Jiva, the karmic load, and then the whole universe and the beyond. Everything is pervaded by Ishvara and his experience at a time. The Jivan Mukta passing through the three states and experiencing God in various ways is witness of that also, God. That's why, though a realized soul is one with Ishvara, one with the Lord of the universe, one with the cosmic existence, one with Vishwa Chaitanya, one with God, he cannot erase the karma of others or give mukti to others. He can show the path to that state, but he cannot remove the maximum. He can take a little karma of them and release from the present bondage to work for the spiritual benefit. This is the difference between, though I am one with God, I don't get the powers of God, because God is entirely different from the Jiva, even at the Jivan Mukta state. Now Shankaracharya, Ramana Maharshi, Pawari Baba, all these are realized souls of unimaginable dimensions. But they cannot remove, otherwise they would have released all the souls and went away. They cannot give realization, they cannot destroy the karma, they cannot destroy the vasana. God alone has the capacity to erase anybody's karma any moment at any time. But usually, because it is a divine play, he doesn't want to go against the laws of nature any time. So this is what we see in. So ego, I am coming to ego because Sri Ramakrishna says the ego does not vanish altogether. The man coming down from the samadhi perceives that it is Brahman that has become ego. An important expression which we miss in all Advaitic scriptures. Even in Advaitic scriptures, I mean. The man coming down from samadhi perceives that it is Brahman that has become the ego, the universe and the living beings. How much of difference you see between ego and living beings. So ego has one aspect of ego is the part, being part of the Chaitanya. Another is a part of the Prakriti. Both are manifestations of the ego of a man in the world is manifestation of Brahman. Ego in the realized state is also manifestation of the Absolute, the Brahman. That Brahman has become the ego, the universe. Universe we understand. Universe appearing and disappearing in the absolute existence. In Brahman, it manifests. Being unaffected, it doesn't affect the Brahman, but it manifests in Brahman as time and space and dissolves back in Brahman, time and again in cyclic order. And all living beings are living in the universe. Ego is living in the individual beings. They are independent entities. The ego is different from the living being. Living being is different because prana is there, energy is there, life is there, life is continuing. So we see here the various levels of existence, and all are the manifestations of the one and the same Brahman. Om Niranjanam Nityamanantarupam Bhaktanukampa Dhritavigraham Vai Ishavataram Parameshamidhyam Tam Ramakrishnam Shirasa Namamaha.